to this question here, if you're seeing A here, 4A, um, there's a there's like a prerequisite skill, which is to figure out the least common multiple of,
Mhm.
the what does your instructor call here? It doesn't really matter, but it's the greatest common factor. That doesn't seem to be right. Anyway, here it's 12. Okay. Because 6 goes into 12 and 12 goes into itself. So you multiply everything by 12. There's 1, 2, 3 terms to multiply by 12. This first one, though, you multiply everything in the top by 12, except you really should divide first. So a lot of times students multiply them, but really you should divide each of these. So if you divide by 6, you get a 2. You divide by 6, you get a 2 there. So just keep that in mind. So this becomes 3x minus 2 equals 2. Is that clear? Or need more
Yeah.
explanation on that? Okay. So we got 3x minus 4 equals 2. 3x minus 4 equals 2. 3x equals 6 divided by 3 divided by 3. So x equals 2. No issues there on that one. If anything, if I'm going too fast or something's unclear, just let me know, and
Okay.
I'll do a better job. So question B, this one has x's in the bottom. So whenever you have x's in the bottom, what you're supposed to do is set them equal to 0 so that you can figure out the excluded values. So in both cases, x equals 0. And what that really means is x cannot equal 0. So
Okay.
if for some reason you were to get your solution as 0, then um, you would have a problem. And maybe we'll see that, maybe we won't.
Okay.
The right-hand side has a denominator of 1.
Mhm.
So so we're looking at 2x, 3x, and 1. And to me, the one that we're looking for is 6x.
Yeah.
So we're going to multiply everything by something to get to 6x. So you could, like, one option is to multiply everything by 6x. No, it's not. I'm sorry. That just worked in the last one. Forgive my words here. We're trying to make the bottom into 6x. So for
Uh-huh.
the first one, we're going to multiply the top and bottom by 3.
Yeah.
The second one is 2. And then the last one is 6x and 6x.
Uh-huh.
So it ends up being 9 over 6x minus 10 over 6x equals 12x over 6x. So for this one, we actually do write out the bottom, but eventually you just grow to write out the top,
Yeah.
because the top is what you care about. So you essentially have 9 minus 10 equals 12x, negative 1 equals 12x. So x equals negative 1 over 12. And since that's not 0, you don't have to worry about any of the things I just
Mhm. Got it.
all right, so we'll move on to C. C is also got x's in the bottom here. What I'd like you to do in this one is tell me what we should get the on the bottoms. What's the least common multiple for the bottom here? Let's see if I can get this one to snip in. So what's the least common multiple between x comma 2 and 2x?
Um, would it be 2x?
Yes. And it just happens to be one of those. So we're trying to make each of these 2x. Just multiply that by 2 and 2. The second one by x and x. And the third one here by 1 and 1. So it could be all three are different.
Mhm.
All right, so the first one is 2 minus, and then x squared equals x plus 4. So this time I'm only writing the top. I don't need to write the bottom. Um,
Okay.
So now we want to get everything on one side of the equation. So the best thing to do is to move the x squareds this way and the minus the 2 over here, because we want it positive. So you're going to add x squared to both sides, and you're going to subtract 2 to both sides. So you end up getting 0 equals x squared plus x plus 2. That's odd. So the reason I said that is this one does not have a solution, I don't believe.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So like to do that, so that we can do the whole b squared minus 4ac. So that's 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2. And that is, that ends up being a -7. So this one actually has no solution. No solution.
Okay,
Do you have the solutions to confirm that?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. Well, then we can't, can only just go off of what we think that is correct. I could also graph it. That would be another way to confirm this, but it is possible that there is no solution. Okay, so how about this one? What are we looking for in terms of the bottom number? What does it need to?
2y.
Yep. So to get to 2y, you multiply the first one by 2 and 2, the second one by y, and then the third one we have it. So it's 4 plus y equals 5.
Y is 1.
Y is 1. Okay. And we didn't do the whole excluded thing, but we didn't have to worry about any of these. So 5b does not have the variable that you're solving for. I know I'm jumping ahead here, but do you happen to know if the instructor made a comment about that?
Let me check. Yeah, I'm not sure. We might just have to skip that one.
Sure. Yeah. So the first one here, solving for E, you have to first figure out, it's the instruction to solve. I like to circle the letter that I'm solving for, kind of know what I'm doing here, and you just have to clear. You have to clear the v squared. So actually, let me rewrite this because there's too much going on here. So it's m over 1 equals 2e over v squared. So to clear the v squared, you multiply both sides by v squared. So you get m v squared equals 2e. So basically you just undo stuff.
What does the semicolon mean?
It's trying to tell you like solve for this variable.
Oh, okay. Got it.
All right, now to get the e by itself, you're going to divide by 2. So that clears that. So e equals mv squared over 2. And give me just 30 seconds here, please.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to even make a guess on B about which variable to solve for?
I
Or do we just want?
I mean, this is just a worksheet, so I guess we can just pick one.
Yes.
That'll work.
We have freedom of choice here. Okay, so part B is, we'll just say, I'm going to say we're going to solve for A. Okay. Semicolon A. All right, so I would get this term on the right-hand side. So we're going to add C over A squared minus B squared to both sides. And that'll give you 1 over C equals C over A squared minus B squared. And you can cross multiply here. I'm sure
Mhm.
you've seen that. So you get A squared minus B squared equals C squared.
Oh,
Okay. And then in truth, you could probably solve for any variable, but what we just choose, I just chose A as an example here. So, um, so we'll move the B over. So we'll add B squared to both sides. So we have A squared equals B squared plus C squared. And then you can take a square root of both sides. So A equals plus or minus the square root of B squared plus C squared.
got it.
Okay, we'll do letter C. Letter C is kind of an interesting one. A lot of times students forget how to put how to get a variable out of the bottom. And one way is to cross multiply like we just did. I like that a lot. The other way is to actually multiply by the variable on both sides of the equation. Both will work, but I think cross multiplying is kind of a better general strategy. So you have M times A equals 1 times F, or just F.
Mhm.
And we're done because we were asked to solve for F, and there it is.
Yeah, got it.
Got it. All right. So letter D here is asking for you to solve for B here. These are all a lot of these are equations from physics that you may or may not, see if you
Mhm.
take physics. So again, the variable that you care about is in the bottom. So again, I'm going to recommend that you cross multiply here. So you get B squared R squared Q equals 2VM. And then we want to get to B. So we need to undo the R squared and the Q. So they're multiplying, so you undo them with division.
Oh, okay.
So we're really, really close because it's B squared equals 2VM over R squared Q. And then you take a square root of both sides. So B equals plus or minus square root. Whenever you take a square root, it's always plus or minus R squared over Q, R squared Q.
Okay, got it.
Are there any of the ones that you did earlier in the practice that you'd like us to cover, or should we move to synthetic division, long division?
No, those are all pretty easy. I mean, it's just factoring and completing the square, so.
Okay. All right. So with work with your partner, did you have a partner?
I actually missed class this week,
Okay.
so these are worksheets that I had to make up.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That's it's not great. So do you remember long division?
Um, Not particularly. I don't really
Okay.
know how to go about it.
Okay. So there's this is like from fourth grade. There's the outside the house, and then
Yeah.
you have the inside the house. Okay. And you're going to notice I'm adding extra things here.
Uh-huh.
And these are inside the house here. Okay, so that's one of those first things is you got to remember to put, it's got to have every single descending power. So even if they don't exist, you put a 0 in front,
Okay.
and that should do it there. So the first thing is you try to figure out, well, how do I get 3x to the fourth from x? It's 3x to the fourth from x, and that is 3x cubed. So you put it in the x cubed column, and you'll multiply here. So that's 3x to the fourth plus 6x cubed. And then this is kind of the most important part is you end up subtracting both of these. So you put them in parentheses. Now the first one always cancels because they should be identical.
Uh-huh.
The second one may or may not. Usually it doesn't, but it's 0 minus 6. So that's minus 6x cubed. 0 minus 6x cubed. And then you bring this one down. And now you repeat. So you're trying to get to minus 6x cubed this time because it's the leading term, just like 3x to the fourth was leading term.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to get to minus 6x cubed. So that's minus 6x squared.
Okay.
So now you multiply minus 6x squared times x, it's minus 6x cubed, minus 12x squared, and then you subtract. So this was a little bit awkward here. So what some students do is they change the sign of each of these in here and add instead. Because
Uh-huh.
right now you got negative 6x cubed minus a minus, which is really a plus. Remember
Yeah.
that? Okay, so that's 0, which the first one should always be. Then it's minus minus a minus. So this becomes 7x squared. Then you
Oh,
bring the 0x down, and that's just
okay.
a sign. So again, you rinse and repeat here. How do you get to 7x squared from x? Well, use 7x. So when you multiply 7x by x, you get 7x squared. 7x times 2, that's 14x. And then you subtract. It's really, you notice I'm putting it in parentheses because you're subtracting both of them.
Uh-huh.
So this one gives you minus 14x. You bring the 3 down, plus 3. Okay, oops, almost ran out of room. Yeah, so to get to minus 14x, it's minus 14. And that gets you minus 14x minus 28. But again, you're subtracting. So minus 14x minus a minus 14x is like plus 14x. That's 0. It should always be 0. 3 minus a minus 28 gets you to 31.
Okay.
Now, if that was a lot, I mean, this kind of was a big one. Your answer is always the quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. That's how most instructors do it. Your remainder is down here.
Uh-huh.
You remember that from fourth grade?
Yeah.
Remember you learned it?
Yeah.
This is your quotient, and this is your divisor.
Okay.
So it's kind of a mess here, but I'll write the answer at the top because this screen doesn't really scroll well for what we're doing. It's so the answer is, well, it's this. Let me rewrite it. 3x cubed minus 6x squared plus 7x minus 14 plus the remainder of 31 over x plus 2. That's your final answer.
Oh, okay.
Now, question 2 is more straightforward because it's got all the terms. There's no missing terms. It didn't omit like a, an X to something.
Yeah.
But did you get all this down? And I'm going to send this to you shortly. Also,
Yeah, I
so
got it.
okay.
Just a lot of writing.
Sure is. I'm not a fan of these, but they do exist here. So outside the house, inside the house, like that. Again, same set of questions. So we're trying to clear the x cubed. So it's what do you multiply x by to get x cubed? It's x squared, and you put it in the x squared column. So then
Okay.
you multiply each of these by x squared. So you get x cubed minus 7x squared. And this is where you have a choice. Like I was subtracting in the last one. What some students do is they change the sign. So they go minus plus, and then they add.
Oh.
So it's x cubed plus minus x cubed. 2x squared plus 7x squared. Which do you like, or which do you want me to do?
Probably how you have it written. I think that makes more sense.
Okay, so the first one's always 0. If it's not 0, you did something wrong. Go back and recheck. This
Yeah.
is 9x squared. Bring the minus 3x down. You're trying to get 9x squared now. 9x squared from x. It's 9x. I can do that. 9x squared minus 63x. This is the important step here. You have to change the sign. Negative, positive. So whatever it was, you just change it. That's 0. That makes sense. 60x, bring the 4 down. So how do you get 4? I'm sorry, how do you get 60x from x? We have to multiply
60.
by 60. Yeah. See, it's some big numbers because your instructor didn't choose well here. Maybe that was intentional. So minus 420. And then again, you change the sign. So negative, positive. This one was kind of odd that it was always negative, positive, but that's the way this works out. So 424, this is your remainder. And your result is always quotient plus remainder over divisor. The number you get here at the bottom, which could be 0, by the way, is your
Yeah.
remainder. There's your quotient. There's your divisor.
Okay. Got it.
All right, on to number 3. Number 3. Are you in the same class that you were, or instructor with the limits and stuff that you're doing before?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're back kind of on a more traditional track.
Right?
All right, so notice the numerator here is missing. It's missing, it goes 5, 4, and then power of 1. So it's missing right in there a 0x cubed plus a 0x squared.
Uh-huh.
And that's your test question. That's the one you get on the test is going to definitely have missing stuff here. So again, outside the house, inside the house, you put this. I don't know how you remember this, but just make sure you put the right ones in the right place. Otherwise, it'll really look weird. Okay. So again, we're trying to get to x, 2x to the 5th from x squared. That's 2x cubed. So this time we didn't put it in that second position. We put it, actually put it in third. You just put it wherever it makes sense based on the numbers and the values. So you still do the same thing. You take this 2x cubed and you multiply it by x squared, 3x, negative 3x, and plus 1. So you get 2x to the 5th. Okay. Minus 6x to the 4th plus 2x cubed. And again, you got to change the sign of every single one. So negative, positive, negative, and then you add. So 7x to the 4th, because that's 1, minus 2x cubed, bring this down, 0x squared. All right, so what do we multiply x squared by to get 7x to the 4th? You always ask that question, so that's 7x squared. And you multiply each of these 3 by that, whatever that is. So 7x to the 4th minus 21x cubed plus 7x squared, and then change the sign.
Okay.
So negative, positive, negative. And these keep alternating, but I promise you they won't always do that. That just happens to be this way
Yeah.
here. It leads to some very, weird kind of thinking like, oh, it always alternates. Nope.
Doesn't.
Doesn't. And then you get to the test and you don't get it right. So same question. How do you get to 19x cubed from x squared? 19x. That gives you 19x cubed, multiplying each of these 3 over here, minus 57x squared plus 19x. And then we change the sign. So negative, positive, negative. So that first one is 0, 50x squared minus 25x. And then we got to bring the very last one down to from above here. So we got, where is it? 9 plus 9. So we're gonna bring that 9 down. Again, kind of the same deal. How do you get 50x squared from x squared? Well, it's plus 50. So you got 50x squared minus 75x plus 50. Change the sign of each of them, negative, positive, negative. 50x minus 41. So this is your remainder. It's quotient plus remainder over divisor. So if you made a mistake, like in the first step, it carries through the entire problem. So really always just, you do want to do these on your own if you need practice with them. Right. Okay, so that takes care of those 3. And then the next ones are synthetic division. They go pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Again, work with your partner. You can have a partner. You've seen this before, so these do go again. They go pretty quickly here.
Yeah.
Because these are all review from last year. Okay. All right. So do you remember this at all?
I just don't know where to start.
Okay. So this one's got a similar, I call it a box, like a penalty box over here. You put the number that makes this 0.
Oh, okay.
You set this equal to 0. And you put that number there, and then you put the coefficients here. So 1, 1, 1, 1, which is also odd, but it
Ooh.
has to be descending. So if you were to skip one, like let's say the X wasn't there, you'd put a 0 there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This will make sense after we do a few more of these. Okay. Now you always bring the first number down. That always happens. Then you multiply 1 times -9 and put that here. And then you add. So this is -8. Then you repeat. So you take this -8 and multiply by -9. So that's 72. Then you add 73. Then you multiply by -9, which I don't have. It's like 630 and 27. So it's like -657, something like that. And then you add again. So -656. So this is your remainder.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is your quotient. And this is your divisor. So this is maybe the hardest part here because it's slightly different.
So the divisor is -9.
No, it's X plus 9.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Yeah, so the quotient here, and this is where it's a little bit harder. This 1 went with X cubed. So this 1 down here goes with X squared. So it's 1X squared minus 8X plus 73.
Yeah.
Because they go down by 1 degree.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so then again, it's always quotient plus remainder over divisor. So your quotient is right there, and then your remainder is -656 over X plus 9.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
Oh, no, I got it.
Okay, so we're gonna do another one that's just like it. Kind of. This one has the missing terms in it, number 5.
Mhm.
So I'll show you what I mean by that here. So in the top, it says 7x cubed minus 1, but what that really is it's 7x cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 1 all over x plus 2. So just because you're doing synthetic division, it doesn't mean, just like long division, you got to include those. So the first thing is you figure out what goes in the penalty box over here. And it's the number that makes this equal to 0.
-2.
-2. And then the coefficients here. So 7, 0, 0, -1. All right, so see if you can do this on your own and let me know what you get. Or you always bring that first number down. See what you get for the last one.
I'm confused on what to do with the zeros.
You always add. So it's 0 plus -14. So you just put that down there.
Okay, can we go through this again? I'm so confused.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we start by putting the coefficients 7, 0, 0, -1. You bring the first coefficient down, 7. You always bring that number down, whatever it is.
Mhm.
7 times -2 is,
Oh, -14.
okay, and then you add here, 0 plus -14 is -14.
Uh-huh.
-14 times -2 is 28. Add these vertically, 28. 28 times -2 is -56. Add them vertically, -57. So that's your remainder. And this is your quotient. Your quotient, though, it goes down by 1. So since 7 was x cubed, 7x cubed up here at the top, this is going to be 7x squared minus 14x plus 28. And then again, you always read it as the remainder over the divisor.
Mhm.
So that's plus -57 over x plus 2.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
All right, last one here. This one, again, kind of probably a good exam question because there's some missing numbers there. All right, so here again, see what's missing there. There should be a 0x cubed in there because it's got to go down by powers of 1. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So again, in this penalty box here, you set this equal to 0. So that's 4. And then you write the coefficients 5, 0, because there's supposed to be a 0 there. 1 for x squared, minus 8 for x, and then 2. And then this very first number always comes down.
Mhm.
5 times 4 is
20.
20. And then you add vertically. 20 times 4 is 80. 81 here, because you're adding vertically. 81 times 4 is 324. You're adding vertically, so that's 316. 316 times 4 is 1200 plus 40 plus 24. So 1264. Maybe you needed a group because these numbers got so large you had to ask your friend to go grab the calculator. So that's your remainder.
Uh-huh.
This is your quotient. Now this time it started out as x to the 4th. So if it goes down by 1 degree, it's now 5x cubed. And then the others just follow suit. 20x squared plus 81x plus 316. And it's always quotient plus remainder over divisor. Your remainder is 1266. Your divisor is x minus 4.
Okay, got it. Whew.
Is there anything else you'd like to work on today?
I don't have anything for today, but maybe in the future, would you help me with some comp sci homework?
If I can, absolutely.
Okay. I think
Um,
they do it in like JavaScript.
okay. I mean, it's something I'm likely able to help with, but you know, I doubt we could squeeze it into 15 minutes, but
No,
um,
it's fine. I'll just have it ready for next time.
all right, sounds good.
All right. Thanks for your help today.
You're welcome. I'll send you the notes and the screen recording out shortly. Have a great night.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye.